is me, a girl. I'm that chick, Linda.
Nobody's telling me what to do, so I'm highly unqualified. I basically don't know what I'm doing. Hi, I'm Linda Nyongweso, and today I am really, really sleepy. I'll give you a backstory. Welcome to another episode of Highly Unqualified, first of all. And today, I just want to ask one question. When did marriage get so unsexy? Okay? 2 years ago, I got married and it was really sexy. It was like all hot date nights, and right now with a kid, everything changes because you're juggling between like work and kids and trying to still remain attractive to this person, which is, when you look like this, right? So the reason I look like this, thank God for makeup, is because, so we moved my daughter into her own room. I know everyone's like, you've waited this long? Like, I get mixed reactions. Everyone's like, you should have waited until she was like 3. Other people, you should have moved her at a month. So I finally moved her, and this week has been torment. Everyone keeps telling me, stick to it. She wakes up screaming, and the only person she wants is me, so it's been a fun few nights. So exciting. However, back to marriage. I remember marriage being very sexy. I remember date nights being very sexy. It was like every week we would do date night, and we would go for concerts, and we would just be young, okay? And we didn't even age. It's like you have a kid, you age overnight. So the other day we were trying date night, okay? It's been like, the truth is we were going to do it the weekly date night thing, and then you calculate what you could be using this money on when you have a kid, and then you're just like, you know what, that has to end. We can do maybe a samosa once in a while, but no dates. So finally we go on a date night, right? Because my husband was about to travel. And then we realized all we talk about on these date nights are exactly what we would have talked about if we were sitting on the couch at home. Nothing sexy. We talk about, how we had diarrhea? In a sexy restaurant, we're talking about diarrhea. And then on top of it, and then we're like, we need to pay this, we need to do this, and the nanny, this, and that. We're not having any sexy conversations. There was a time where we would gaze into each other's eyes, and where we would just, sweet nothings. You're so beautiful. No, you're so handsome. No, you stop it. You're beautiful. These days, it's more like, it's just not sexy. So I discovered a new game. So my husband and I now do Would You Rather, okay? On a date, when we realize we've slipped back into the whole talking about baby and the house and work, and so we've Would You Rather, where each of us comes up with a scenario and we ask a question. And it has to be as obnoxious and as ridiculous as possible. As in, do not play it safe. This is your husband. You're allowed to just say the most obnoxious things. So, for example, I'm going to be obnoxious here. You can ask things like, okay, would you rather you slept with a married woman and you knew she was married? Kumbe, the husband's gone to a witch doctor and now you've kwamanad and you're in the news. And they have you there like, Linda Nyongweso and so, wame kwamishana. Or would you rather your husband or wife or whatever is the one who's having sex with a married person, they kwamishana, and then on the news, they don't even say your husband or wife's name. They say, husband of Linda Nyongweso caught in the act. Yeah, what would you rather? And here's the thing. You have to answer. Because this way it makes you lighten up. You laugh about it because then you both start brainstorming on, okay, but maybe I'd choose this one because, and at the end of it, you've lightened up. The other thing that I've had to learn to do in my marriage is pretend I can't hear the baby. Okay, so the reason I had to move my daughter is because this is a confession, and I should feel guilty about it, but I don't, okay? So it started happening when she was around 6 months, okay? Where I started noticing that my husband could sleep through her crying. I don't know. I don't understand to now how he could sleep through a human being screaming, but he would snore really loudly too. So I started pretending I can't hear the baby, even though I slept right next to her. So she would cry, and I would, and then knock him a little, but pretend I was turning in my sleep. You know that like casual like ka, And then he'd have to wake up and do it, and then because husbands, just husbands, right? he started counting the amount of times he would wake up. So he'd be like, I've done it 3 days in a row. And I had to start reminding him, well, I went through 32 hours of labor, so I've earned this nap. So that became a contentious issue, to say the least. And so we moved her, okay? And of course, my mom, her grandmother's like, why are you evicting my grandchild? You know, it's a whole thing now. But we finally did it. So the other thing that has helped our marriage is having our room back. Now I understand why people in the West and people who are just, I guess, more exposed than us people, you know, they put the kid in another room from day one. I get it now. Because the transition is insane for the child. And you realize, wow, this is what it was like before we had a baby. So it's good. A friend of mine told me that the sexiest she ever feels is when she's going for a gyna appointment. It sounds ridiculous, but she says that she does more primping and, you know, taking care of that lady area because she's more embarrassed of the doctor seeing her in full growth than her husband. So, like, at home, she's just, Karura foresting it. But when she goes to the doctor, she's cleaned up, right? So, learn to treat your husband like he's your gyna in the most sexy way. And put in a little more effort. Unless he likes Karura forest. What am I doing? I have this horrible dream that sometimes my dad watches these videos. And one day he'll mistakenly like it, and then we'll both know he watches them. So that's that. My bad marriage advice. Pretend you can't hear the baby. And then when he finally figures it out, move your child. I told you. My tidbits and nuggets of wisdom aren't that wise. I just wanted a reason to bitch about how marriage got unsexy, but now we're getting back to it. Thanks. If you want to bitch along with me, if you just want to, be here for the next episode, please click the subscribe button. Hit me up on any of the social media platforms. Tell me what it is you want me to talk about. Tell me what you're interested in hearing about. And if you would just like to join me over a glass of wine in front of a camera and we can whine about stuff, I would also love that. Thanks again for joining me on another episode of Highly Unqualified.